Hey everybody. I don't think I've got enough light on me. Ooh, that's horrible. Hold on a second. I don't think that's much better. Oh, hey everybody. I'm sorry. I'm just literally sitting down, getting things situated. I have had a long trip today. I see we have two moderators here. Thank you so much. Patricia and John, thank you for being here, holding the fort down. And it looks like Tina got her late bloomer t-shirt. Thank you everyone for buying my late bloomer t-shirts, buying my mugs, supporting me through my Amazon link, and all the other ways there are to support me. And, you can actually support me through crypto pretty soon. I just haven't put my my numbers underneath my videos. There's so much to do, so little time. Hi, Susie, Judy, Daryl, Christina, and can I tell you're on the other side of the U.S.? California, it's still afternoon. If you mean, yes, that was a picture of Tiger. A tiger, I'll just give you first of all, I want to welcome everybody to my channel. Everybody who is new to my channel, I hope you will take a moment, and if you're watching now, put a little comment in the live chat. Patricia keeps track of all the countries and states where people are. I appreciate that. We know where a lot of people are because they tune in every week, but if you're new, we'd love for you to do that. Also, I hope you'll subscribe if you're interested in setting up a homestead, especially if you're older like me. You might learn something because I am just gung-ho. So I was an urban gardener for 8.5 years in Los Angeles, and now I'm in Tennessee. So there's a huge variety of content on my channel, and I hope you'll take a moment to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, scroll down and click all so you won't miss an upload. Okay, so I've just returned from a trip to Illinois to my friend, and I have had a long drive today, and I had to come here, drop off one cat, and then go get the other cats. I had boarded my 4 kitties that are siblings. I took a litter this past summer. They're 9 or 10 months old now. All of them have been fixed, and they have their shots. So they're up on their shots, and they've all been fixed. And Tiger somehow injured her foot like the night before I left. And so she was treated, or 2 nights before I left, she was treated, and she is still limping, which really surprises me because this has been 4 days. So she's still limping, and they said it was healing. And then Spot has his big skin problem up here. Both of them got antibiotics. That's why I decided to board them at the vet so the doctor could look in on them, rather than having someone come here or whatever. I wanted to make sure, they were looked in on. And so they said that they're doing better. And so that is that. They're very happy to be back. And so I just took a quick shot. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but I took a quick shot of Tiger flopping on the driveway. They love to flop on the driveway in the sun. And I knew after they'd been cooped up for 4 days, then they would really look forward to it. Patch just took off. So I'm going to have to round them up when I get off the live stream. So just bringing you up to date a little bit about that. And 35 of you have joined. Welcome. If you look back at the beginning, I've told you a little bit about my channel if you are new to my channel. So be sure and just catch up if you signed on late. Let me say hello to people. Then I want to launch into talking about what I want to talk about. And if you will hold any questions that you have for me until maybe let's see, 20 to 25 after the hour, that would be great. And I can cover what I've learned, what my plans are with my garden, and then you can comment, ask questions, and all of that. So let's see. And of course, you can talk amongst yourselves, because a lot of people, if you're new to my channel, a lot of people know each other. They've been doing this now. My live streams, I started 2 years ago. So a lot of people know each other, and it's a really great community. So I see Gail and Elizabeth, and is Doug and Stacy on? Let's see. That's funny, Daryl. Cassie is here from Black Gumbo. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. Amazing Autist. Yeah, that's Tiger. She's for some reason fat, and she's only 9 months old. It makes no sense. Daisy Joe is here. She's a longtime viewer, and Doug and Stacy must be on. Back, no doubt, with a tan from Florida. Where are you? Gracie Stanford is from Lafayette, Louisiana. Patricia from Kentucky. Leanne from Idaho. Daisy Joe. Yes, everybody, if you make sure that you are subscribed. Some people say that they're subscribed, and then all of a sudden they're not subscribed and they're not getting a notification. So make sure that you're subscribed. I can't imagine how that happens, but it does happen. So the Williams 40 is here. Thank you. I had a great birthday yesterday. Yes, Doug is here. I have a feeling that's Doug. Comment in the live chat, Missouri. He is subscribed, and you should be too, he says. So thank you so much. That looks really blurry. Let me just see if I've smudged that looks a little better. Okay. Ed is here, and Lucy in California. Boy, you do get around. And Elizabeth in Arizona. Thank you, Tina. Yes, I turned 49 again yesterday. It was just great. Love that age. It's such a great age. Oh, coldest days in Florida in history. What a time to go. I'm so sorry about that. Darn it. I mean, it was like the last time I saw the video that Doug and Stacy did before they left, and it was like 0, and you're like chopping ice out of the chicken thing and advising everybody, just because it says the bottle floats around in the water doesn't mean it's going to actually not freeze. You got to go out with your little ice hatchet. And he had that ice hatchet going right before he left. So I was hoping you were going to get really warm weather. Carolyn is here. Yes, catching 68 in Florida now. I guess you missed it. Well, actually 68, I guess, is kind of chilly. Just a little bit of news. Just got a phone call from my brother. He was supposed to stop by here a little bit earlier on his way back from seeing my mother. He has this. He loves to be home at night, so he makes this monster drive to see my mother, 5 hours each way. So he comes down and sees her for an hour and drives back 5 hours. So anyway, he was going to stop by here, but they were late because evidently my mother fell down last night and we don't know what time. She was found at 4 a.m. I just learned this like 5 minutes before I got on. So she doesn't appear to be injured other than a sore knee. So don't know how long she laid there. So I don't know what, if anything, I could do about that. Great, Elizabeth. You're in the 49 club. Rosemary is here from North Dakota. Gina and okay, so I just want to launch in. I think I've said hello to everybody that's already here. 42 of you if you've joined. If you've just joined and you're new to my channel, please go back and watch the first few minutes where I talk a little bit about my channel. All right, so I had, if you noticed in my community page, I had Tom Anderson, who is evidently a wonderful gardener. I met him at the Middle Tennessee Plant Swap I think it was October. Finally got him over here. He and Nancy came over the day before. Well, let's see. They came over Thursday. No, wait. No, they came over Friday. I was supposed to leave on Friday, but we were talking like until 11:30. He was supposed to get here. They were supposed to get here at 9. I stepped out of the shower and I hear the doorbell at 8:15. I'm going, oops. He goes, I'm always early. I said, oh, good to know. Good to know. Anyway, threw it together, and it was just not possible to film. I was madly taking notes, and still it was almost 3 hours. So I have a big place. If you're new to my channel, I have a big place, and I'm interested in trying to. Of course, I need to get help. That's a given. But I'm interested in kind of trying to tie things together a little bit. I've heard from Danny at Deep South Homestead that they practice permaculture. I have visited a wonderful permaculture farm in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. That's Tori at Permaculture Homestead. I visited him in 2017 in July. The hardest rain I've ever driven through. I mean, it's. I think that and Mobile they get the most rainfall of any cities in the country. But anyway, his garden was in full bloom. He had perpetual spinach and goji berries and, well, just everything you can think. Artichokes and asparagus. I don't know, just everything you can think of. Rabbits, chickens, all in a backyard garden. And it was just wild. I mean, there was a path to walk through it, but it was just amazing. It was amazing. And if you haven't checked out his channel, I haven't seen it recently, but if you go into the channels that my favorite channels, which you see on my homepage at the bottom, the first is Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, of course, and Suburban Homestead, Permaculture Homestead, Danny, Deep South Homestead, all these homestead. It's kind of a familiar theme. Anyway, the permaculture idea really appeals to me. I have such a large space. So I have gardens here and a big garden down there and a big garden over there. And it's all really spread out. So we took a walk around, and he told me, number one, we stopped at just beyond the raised bed garden. I have my blackberry arbor. And like I said, I will try to catch up on questions. Let's see, I'm going to put this, I'm hoping that, and Deep South Alabama is here with Mr. Tom. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to answer any questions you have in about 10 minutes after I get through this. He showed me how to. Now, I had watched a video of Danny's at Deep South about how to prune your blackberries, but he has bushes and I have long vines over an arbor. So he was showing me how to do that. So I was taking notes, and he also told me a great place to go to get, and he knew the prices and the pounds of everything. Where to get worm castings and row cover cloth and seed starting mix, PVC and galvanized wire, and he told me that you may or may not know, but when you have cedar trees and apple trees, the apple trees get this rust from the cedar trees. So I didn't know what that was last year, because I inherited these 4 fruit trees, 2 peach and 2 apple, that were planted here before I purchased the place. And for those of you who are new, I'm now here in my 14th or 15th month. And so these apples were covered with this rust, or I didn't know what it was. And I, was told by someone on my channel what it was. And he said I can buy rust resistant apple trees. So I'm going to try to get a couple of apple trees that are rust resistant. And he also gave me advice on pruning the fruit trees, which I needed because I had the kind of trees in California. Well, my trees in California were so easy in terms of the whole pruning thing, because I had about 6 or 7 pineapple guavas. They're very easy to prune. And then of course fig trees are so easy to prune. I had 2 fig trees, 2 or 3, and I had 2 citrus trees. I hardly ever pruned them. And what else did I have tree wise? Well, I had a weeping acacia. The seed pods of which are edible. I tried to have, when I thought about it, when I think about it now, I think my California garden, although it was very, very small, I did have guilds. And this is something that Tom reminded me about, were permaculture guilds. And I'm sure that anybody doing permaculture will know all about this. But you plant things sort of in association. So, for example, I wanted to have an orchard off to the left of my terraces where I grow my tomatoes on single string. And I had 2 peach, 2 apple. The apples didn't produce one apple because they got hit with this thing. I got some really nice peaches. If you recall, I made some great peach desserts, cobbler. And then I planted a fig tree down there, which didn't really grow, and a big hibiscus, and 2 lemon verbena, and the most favorite of the bees in California was the purple, what was it? The basil. Is Connie on? Connie, I need the name of that. I'm blanking. It's not an edible, but the bees love it. Anyway, he told me to leave that alone. I had not pruned that. He told me to leave it alone. And so he recommended to make to tie that area because I had this grass. We tried to kill the grass with cardboard, but I didn't have enough wood chips. So I had all these weeds and grass and cardboard, and it just looked like a mess. And he said, don't worry about it. He said, don't worry about the grass. Just start planting stuff in there. And so, he suggested to get a couple of blackberry bushes that are bushes. He recommended Kiowa, and Apache, and plant them around the fruit trees. He also recommended comfrey, gooseberries, daylilies, and make a whole permaculture guild out of that. So that's my plan there. We also talked about the fire ants, because I've got some big mounds down there, and I had tried the boiling hot water. And he was reminding me that old Alabama gardener, who, if you're familiar with OAG, he passed away a few months ago, and it's a huge loss to the gardening community, but his channel is still there as far as I know, and hopefully his daughter will keep it up. There's an amazing amount of content on there, but he reminded me that OAG had said orange oil. He used orange oil, a mixture of orange oil and Dawn dishwashing liquid, but Tom was recommending borax and sugar, and I had seen that before. You mix up borax and sugar in water, and then the ants take it down to the queen, which is very deep underneath. And then once the queen dies, then I don't know, they move away or die, or I don't know what they do. So that's what and he was recommending that I have 4 new blueberry bushes, which I bought from, this new person that I met through Daryl's meeting. They're close to me. I went and saw their place. And from there, their landscaping guys came over here and we went through the whole thing about all my water issues. And we're trying to figure out how to proceed on that. So that's moving along. Also, Tom said that when I do plant the blueberries, and he said not to worry, I just remember that OAG had all of his blueberries in this big enclosure. It had a screen door, and it was a big enclosure to keep out the squirrels and the birds. So that's what I wanted. But the one that Justin built for me last year got mangled in the biggest snow we had just about a month ago. So wasn't strong enough for the weight of the snow. And so he was just saying, plant the blackberry bushes around the fruit trees. And, when I plant the blueberries, I don't have to plant them all exactly together. But when I do plant the blueberries, he recommended using half peat moss and pine straw. So those are just some of the things that we talked about. Then we moved on to the flower garden, and he recommended I put in a berm and a swale above it's about 20 by 30 feet, the flower garden. And to that, he says that I can just dig a trench with my tiller. And that's what I plan to do, about 12 inches deep, put all the loose dirt over to the side, the downhill side of it to make a berm. So this will be the swale. You'll dig it down until it's 12 inches down, and all that dirt's going to go on the side, on the uphill side of the flower garden. And then it's going to catch and hold water, and all that water will gently go across the flower garden, and it'll make having to water the flower garden a lot easier. Let's see. We went down to the and also down at my vineyard. I have 9 vines down there. If you saw that recent video with Linda, who was here, she has her own vineyard in Lubbock, and she was advising how to the simple trick to make more grapevines rather than having to go down and spend 25. I mean, I don't even remember, but I spent $15 to $20 or $25 on those grapevines last year. And here you get them for free if you know how to do it. So be sure and watch that video. And so because it's on a slope, but it's kind of dipped in where the vines are planted, he just recommended a berm and a swale on the downhill side of that to catch water, because there's plenty of water coming down. So that's the other thing I'll be working on. I need to get a line level so that I can get that berm level on both of those, because not only does my garden drop down this way, but it's also sloping down that way. So I got two directions on the slope. So we moved on down to the lower garden. And if you're new to my channel and you don't know what I'm talking about, be sure you go back and just watch some of the videos where I kind of go around, the garden tour videos. That'll really give you an idea of the layout of my place. The berm should be 16 inches. So he was saying, down at the bottom, I have some fruit. I have 3 cherry trees, 1 plum, and 2 pear trees down there for different varieties. And he said, I need another plum. He recommended I get a Santa Rosa plum at Home Depot or Lowe's. So I'm going to be doing that ASAP. He also told me to get a $16 50-pound bag of cottonseed meal. And of course, I want to get rabbit poop. I'm going to look for somebody keeping rabbits around here. I'd love to keep them myself. If I had help, I would definitely have rabbits just for the poop, because it's so good. Let's see. He uses it very sparingly, but he gets rabbit poop, and he has a lot of tree people that drop off wood chips to him. I still am in need of wood chips. So then he gave me some suggestions how to protect the elderberries and those fruit trees down below from the deer, because I have major deer passage through there. And I've got and so let's see, walking around. He didn't know much about wildflowers. I wanted to scatter some wildflowers in the area that I had forest mulched on the side. And he said, I don't know much about wildflowers, but I found out from this guy yesterday about that. I'll fill that in a second. So we kept going around. He didn't know much about the cistern, so he didn't have any suggestions about how to fix the cistern, which is leaking. But these guys may be able to fix it that came. So then we went to the side garden, and then I have this mound above the side garden, which is like a natural berm, and it's already sitting there. And so I'm just going to make it curved on the top, on the hillside. So, and then when we direct this water, either by a French drain or just by a trench, I'm not sure what we're going to start with. I'm just going to stop it there so the water collects in this berm above the side garden. And it should really help retain the moisture, because that side garden, there's a slope. So once it rains, it just goes right off. That should hold the water back. And the berm, he said, it's covered in weeds right now, but he said these weeds that are growing on it, I wasn't familiar with it, but he said they come off really easily. I should be able to just rake them off and then plant potatoes and onions in there. So I'm going to be ordering onions from Dixondale Farms. They're supposed to be like the best. And I just need to talk to them. They have several different sweet onions, and I want to make sure to get the right one, because I just want sweet onions. And let's see. And he said that I should plant the potatoes. He plants his potatoes on 3/19, and he's going to plant his onions at the end of the month. I think those are all my notes. And yeah, there's a flea market. He told me where there's a flea market on, I thought he said Saturday. I'm going to have to check on that, because that looks like, oh, that says trees. Yeah, it's a Saturday flea market, and I can get bare root trees. He recommended getting Asian pear. Now, I know Daryl has Asian pear. I said, well, don't the squirrels eat those? And he says he has no problem with squirrels eating his Asian pears. So we'll see. And so I think those are all my notes. So at this point, if you have questions for me, I would love to take them. Okay, I see Jack working backwards. I see Jack, our resident meteorologist, ordered his onions from Dixondale the other day. They are great. I believe Asian pears are self-pollinating, but Daryl, can you confirm that? Etsy has, Amazing Autist says, Etsy, I don't really want to order rabbit poop. You know, I think it's going to be really important, especially going forward, that we try to find things local. And I just really wanted to, I know my friend Linda is really trying to break herself of the habit of ordering on Amazon. I do have an Amazon affiliate link, so I appreciate anybody who orders through that, because I do make a few pennies for my channel. But I have been so dependent on ordering everything since I've been here. So I want to start trying to really break myself of that habit, because who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, if you look at Canada, I mean, all of that could be happening here. So that's why hopefully the people in Canada, and there's so many preppers in Canada that have been, you know, and they have very large followings, and they have been warning people to stock up and stock up and stock up. So hopefully they can ride this thing out. I decided to take a break from all of that, you know, news, and just check out for 3 days. And so I'm really not up on what's been going on for the last 3 days. But at any rate, I know that the same thing could happen here. And we need to be prepared. Oh my goodness. Tracy says she puts one rabbit poop pellet in each seedling, and that's all the fertilizer they need. That's amazing. Topaz says Asian pears are more susceptible to disease. I did not know that. Daryl, what say you about that? Yes, I agree, Tracy. It was great. I'm glad I did. Local Craigslist for rabbit manure. Good point. I stopped using Craigslist about 10 years ago. But we have LSN, which is the same thing. LSN is local. Of course, Craigslist has local listings too. So I'm making myself a note. Let's see. Yes, remind everybody where you are. Amazing autist. Well, what about the diseases, Daryl? Asian pears. Let me scroll back and see if there were any other questions. Betty is here from Ottawa. Hang on up there, Betty. Just hang on. Linda G, that is so true. That is so very true. I got excited about rabbits for the first time in when I visited Sharon in Delaware. She grows rabbits, and I saw the rabbit poop, and I thought, wow, that could really be great fertilizer. I think that was in 2016. And no, when I was a teenager, the local doctor that all delivered us all, his sons we were in high school with his sons, and I was friends with one of his sons in my grade, and we would go over there, and they had rabbits. And I'd sort of forgotten about that. They had rabbits. I don't know if his mother loved flowers, and I bet she did use the rabbit poop for her flowers. She had beautiful flowers. Let's see. Right. Daryl is advising only use cottonseed meal if it's from organic cotton. That might be very, very hard to find. You would almost have to go to, I don't even know where you'd have to go to find that. So Carolyn says she has swales and there are lots of work to maintain. Can you write in a sentence or two at most, so I'll be able to read it, why they are a lot of work to maintain? I would like to know. Wow, blackberry bushes are blooming. Jennifer's here in West Central Georgia. I wonder, do blackberries have rhizomes? Do they spread under the ground? Because so last night, in case you missed my post on my community page, I posted several times. Yesterday was my birthday. Happy Valentine's belatedly to everyone. I finally found this guy at dark. There was some confusion about where he was as opposed to where the plants were. I couldn't find the nursery, Finally, if you saw that picture, the end of the sunset was reflected in the window on the back of my truck. And he was loading up 30 hazelnut. I keep wanting to say gooseberry. I'm looking for gooseberry. I want gooseberry. That's one of the things that Tom said I should have, gooseberry, plant them around the fruit trees, gooseberry and goji berries. And I want goji berries and gooseberries. Now I've got the hazelnuts. I also have red osier dogwoods, just 5 of them. And the only reason I got them, they're not edible, but you can use the, my neighbor brought my mail over as I got home, and he was saying you can use the branches to make wreaths, and also stronger. He said the Native Americans used the stronger branches for arrows. That's what he told me. And but the only reason I got them because they're like they're like this branches are this color. They're late bloomer red. So I said I had to have them. I don't know what they look like when they actually leaf out, but all winter long you get to look at these red branches, which is pretty cool. Yes, when I got my first load of wood chips in California, it was steaming so hot. The last shot in that video. By the way, I reorganized my playlists finally on my channel, and I think I'm going to shift it one more time and just start with, if you go on mobile, it starts off with the most recent uploads, which I call, the playlist name is called Kaye's Vlog. I named it that in 16 when we started vlogging, but I should just retitle it recent uploads, because that's where I put everything. That's where you can find everything, every new upload. And more birthday wishes coming in, and then the second one is most popular, and so I have 1.1 million views on my loofah video. And I would have never imagined that would be my biggest hit video, but it is. And the second one is, interestingly, I hadn't noticed this in a while, but the second one is almost 500,000 views with Eric, this man that worked for me for a few years. He started out on Thursdays. We switched around a bit, but he would come one day a week and we'd just get all that heavy work done on that one day and just work. And then I did this series of Thursday Workday playlist. And so we would just do all of this work, and I would film it all. Anyway, there was one where my plums came in. It was the biggest. And I think it might have been because it got pruned the year before, but this plum tree was at least 35 years old. And it was sandwiched in between. They built a big, big mansion right beside our house. And the house setback was only 5 feet to the property line on each side. So it's literally 10 feet from my office window to their garage window. And in between is this plum tree that's been sitting there for 35 years. Half of it was chopped off by the people who built the fence in between. And somehow it managed to get up there and get enough light to have the biggest crop ever that year. And that must have been 2018, after I broke my arm, because Eric was doing all the heavy lifting after I broke my arm. And there's the thumbnail is him just holding out these plums, and the title is, "Can you believe this is a tiny front yard?" So that's almost 500,000 views. And then after that, it's my wood chip video, the first time I got wood chips. And then the next one after that is the video of Daryl's garden that we did last year. So be sure, if you haven't seen Daryl's amazing garden, to check out those really popular videos that I've done. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I need to talk to a tree service. I just haven't gotten around to doing that. I need to. Let me just see if I can get the answer to one of my questions. Tracy, what do you feed your rabbits? Is there a particular food that's best for producing such great fertilizer? All right, it jumped. Let's see. Okay, Connie says blackberries make runners that spread underground. Well, that makes sense because there was a whole row of blackberries down there. But when I got the forest mulching done, I mean, he was so fast with that thing. I didn't think he was going to cut the blackberries down, but it was all gone. Ah, interesting. Okay. Goosenecks. I don't know what that is. Abigail dill. Well, Abigail, you know it's a very big country, and there is a lot of places that you can grow, that you can move to, if you can afford to, uh, where you can grow your own vegetables. A lot of places. I mean, I grew my own vegetables in a tiny garden in Los Angeles, so it can be done. I think that was in my whole neighborhood. I think there were only two other people, and they just had a couple of raised beds, not a whole thing. Um, so it's not common, but that's what I tried to do, just by having it right in the neighborhood, in the front yard, primarily in the front yard, because that's where the sun was, that I would inspire other people to do it. They were inspired, but they didn't want to put in the work. So, but I think a lot of people are going to be changing their mind about that if they get hungry. So, but there's a lot of places I mean, I have to adjust, because I could, if I missed the perfect moment to do this or that, I could always grow something else in California. But here, you got to be ready. You got to grab the season, because then you got winter. And so last year I was late with a lot of things because I was new here and I was building raised beds and an arbor, and developing and clearing land, and clearing grass and all of that. So I was late planting everything last year. Emmanuel is here from Ultimate Gardening. We have 74 people. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button, click the bell for notifications, scroll down and click all so you won't miss an upload. And be sure and if everybody could just take a moment and hit that like button, then it sends a message to YouTube to share this live stream so other people can learn. And if you're on mobile, you just click off the live chat for a second, hit the thumbs up, and then come right back, and we'll see that 39 number go way, way up. So thank you. I appreciate that. It's starting to move. Let's see if we can get it up to 78. 43, not too far to go. 35 more. I know it's hard to do if you're watching this from television, but if you're not, I would really appreciate if you'd hit that like button. Let's see. Okay. Interesting. Walmart for gooseberries and goji berries would not have even thought about Walmart. I wonder where they get their plants. I'm trying to remember where I got my goji. I had goji berries when I was in California, just two. I had such a small garden. I didn't have room. But what I want to do is I want to put, about the wildflowers. So I have this bag of seeds where did it go? I have a huge bag of wildflower seeds that I got from Haas Tools. And I just wanted to just scatter them. I need to call Haas and see what they say. But the guy last night that I met with, I asked the guy last night, very interesting guy, would have loved to have talked to him more, but it was literally about 18 degrees and the sun was down. So we were moving very fast. And, but he is, and the government, hate to even talk about the government, but the government pays farmers to stop growing crops and turn their, and I forget the name of the program, but they turn their part of their land back over to native plants for wildlife. But he said, shockingly, he said that if I scatter wildflower seed over in this area over there, I've got a tarp over there. If you've been watching, I've got a tarp over there, which has killed everything. You know, that's been down since September. So 4 months, everything under there should be pretty dead. So I was thinking if I just scattered wildflower seeds, you know, as soon as it got warm, they just pop up. But what he said is, unless you kill everything with Roundup and start over, the wildflowers may come up, but they'll be crowded out, and within 3 weeks, they'll all be dead. And he knows this because he's part of this whole conservation program. And this whole huge field behind him is all planted in a pollinator species, butterfly, butterfly bush, and he said they have tons of monarchs and all this stuff, but that's the way they routinely do it. They spray the whole field with Roundup, kill everything, and then they come back in and plant the wildflower seed. And so he said I wouldn't have any luck. It would just be a waste of seed and waste of effort, because all that stuff that was there will come back and crowd out those wildflowers. He said the only way that I might be successful is to seed the wildflowers in trays and get them up to a certain size and then set them out. And I might be successful. But I didn't really want to be digging over there because there's a lot of poison ivy. And I was just hoping if I go like that from the side, I can have this whole thing of wildflowers, but it just doesn't work like that. Kevin is here from Florida. Key West. I was there one time. Guess who I saw? I'll give you guys one guess. One guess. The celebrity that I saw when I was in Key West. I'll give you a hint. Female. I know that's not much of a hint, but it was a long time ago. So don't think about anybody current. But it was in the afternoon. I was sitting in a restaurant. It wasn't much going on because it was the afternoon. And I see this woman come up to the window, to the big picture window, and come up to the window and like this to try to see inside, see what was going on inside, and I went that's all I'm going to say. Blythe Myrtle is here from Savannah, Georgia. Well, Savannah, hey, Georgia people, is it normal for peach trees to be blooming now? Mine are not blooming. So Thank you. I don't know which one the primrose is. Violets? Huh. Okay, Jennifer has already answered that question. That's lovely. Okay. So Carolyn has an organics cotton seed 50-pound bag, but is it meal? Have you already ground it up? I actually tried to order cotton seed. It was brown cotton because I just thought it'd be so cool. Just, my mother grew up picking cotton, and I just thought, full circle, try to grow a little cotton. But I realized that they were out and they didn't actually send it in my order. Let's see. Thank you, Anne. Nope, nope, not Meryl Streep. Nope, older. Think farther back. Not an actress. Amazing Autist, that's a good point. No, not Barbara Streisand. Huh. Yeah, I guess if you hoe it in, Carolyn says most conservationists do use Roundup. That's amazing. Well, Rose, Carolyn says most conservationists do use Roundup. That sounds like a good book, and that brings up a point. Tracy said she found an old book at a yard sale, and I've heard other. It was actually Danny at Deep South was saying this. We are so used to just looking up online how to do everything, and he was saying, get some books because if the grid goes down, the internet could go down too. I mean, it's possible. And we're so used to just looking it up online how to do everything that we need a few books to tell us how to do stuff that we don't know how to do. Oh, carbon credits are crazy. Let's see. Gretchen is here from warm Texas. Oh, no, Nomathemba Zwedella is here from South Africa. Welcome. 87 of you have joined. I hope if you're new to the channel, you will subscribe, hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of regular people on here. I'm going through answers and questions now. We're talking about permaculture because I know at least a dozen of you have just recently signed on. So we're trying to talk about permaculture, also conservation. We're talking about wildflowers, and we're talking about rabbit poop. So Emmanuel, I forgot the goals that I set for you, Emmanuel, but I evidently set Emmanuel as a young gardener with a pretty new channel. I helped him get to his first 1,000, and I said, you set a goal of 2,000 by February, and you made it. That's fantastic. Amazing Autist, I see your question here. Has anyone had problems with people stealing your food? Let's put that question open to the community because I haven't here, but certainly if you're in the city, you might, but then some people in the city grow food in the parkways. I grew food in my parkway, and I was happy to share it. I just would appreciate if people asked. That's all. And I think it happened one time, and I said to them, just ask. Just have the courtesy to ask. I spent all that time growing that food. Don't just come and take it without asking. Who would do that? But people do. Mm. Why did they delay your hip surgery? Mm. Oh, the forsythia is blooming. I missed it. I think my forsythia got weed whacked, Daryl. I don't see anything down there. So Daryl is saying massive flocks of robins passing through. Have you seen online all the birds dropping out of the sky though? That's scary. Oh gosh, eastern bluebirds are back. Daryl, I haven't put out my bird houses. I need to do that, I guess. Yeah, Tracy. Tracy remembers my broken arm. Okay, let me see if I can get caught up here. Exactly, Carolyn. Raccoons usually don't. I never had a problem with a raccoon stealing food in my California. I had a lot of raccoon problems, but they were just looking for grubs. They would just dig up and disrupt the roots and stuff. They were never after my food. I don't know what they're eating of your food. Okay, see ya, Emmanuel. Susan is here from AZ Mountains. Yeah, now avocados are expensive in the Stevie Nicks. No. Think grander. Who is the most elegant, the most captivating woman of the last century? Not a singer. No, not a singer or an actor. Well, good deal, Daryl. I'm glad you did that. Right. I know. Well, I am totally dependent. This is, if you want to call this a side hustle. I mean, my channel and all of that, I'm totally dependent on it. But, I was like the last person to get a cell phone. I got a cell phone in 1990, and everybody I knew already had one. And the only thing that I really, really, really would miss, I have to say, is if I didn't have this, is GPS. Because, I remember the days of getting into LA. Connie, you'll relate to this. Going into LA, we had a book was it called the Thompson Guide? Was that what the name of it was? The Thomas Guide. The Thomas Guide. It was 1 inch thick. At the time, it got thicker, about 1.5 inches before it finally went away. And you would be driving down this road, and you'd turn that one page, and the road would be here, and you turn the page, and it would be a different neighborhood on the back. And you're going, wait, okay. And then it says, it continues on page 290. So then you got to go to 290. Meanwhile, what are you doing? You're on the side of the road somewhere. You could be in a really bad neighborhood, and you're like flipping through this book to try to figure out which way to go. So I tell you, after getting lost in LA a couple times in not great neighborhoods, I have to say the thing I like best about the phone is the GPS. That's also like the worst thing because they know exactly where you are all the time. Oh, goodness. Craig Doniger, Craig's Catfish Cave from Australia. How are things in down under, Craig? We are thinking of you guys. Anita, Roy are here. Yes, every day is worth celebrating, Anita. Anita's an old friend of mine. She made those lovely little quilted coasters. It's 6 p.m. I've got cats out and it is dark and they just got home. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly. 94. Lucille Ball. No, not an actress, not a singer, not in entertainment. Forget entertainment. What else is left when you talk celebrities? Forget entertainment, which includes news. Now, how are you thinking? Think. The most no, I wouldn't say charismatic. Captivating. Not Grace Kelly. She was an actor. But the most captivating person of the last century. Deceased. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see. The urban gardener definitely should get some rabbits for rabbit fertilizer. If I had a partner here, I would absolutely have rabbits. But I'm not sure when Eleanor died. Eleanor Roosevelt would be a very good candidate. But I can't quite see Eleanor Roosevelt looking in the window of a restaurant in Key West. Can you? No, it had to be somebody that really got around. But you're on the right track, Judy. Not an actress, Patricia. Pine Forest Vintage. Who is that? What's your name? You nailed it. Except she was Kennedy Onassis at that time. Pine Forest Vintage guessed it. Jackie Kennedy Onassis. That's who looked in the window that day. I was like, oh, very good. Very good. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh, Todd guessed it too. I just hadn't seen the other one yet. I don't think Princess Diana was even born when I saw Jackie Kennedy. I don't know, actually. How old would Princess Diana be now? Yeah, she might have been a little girl when I saw Jackie. When did Jackie die, though? At least 20 years ago. Oh, Happy guessed it too. And Scott had tuned in between Houston and Galveston. Galveston, oh, Galveston. I still see your something shining. Great song. Diane from Wisconsin, I think Diane was the first one to guess Jackie Kennedy Onassis. But she wasn't the only one. And that's the celebrity I saw when I was in Key West. And Scott is going to cook dinner for the fam. Yay. What are you having? Patricia's gone. Linda has seen Nancy Reagan. I actually saw the what do you call it? The inaugural procession of Reagan and Nancy. Nancy was wearing an orange two-piece suit with orangish, with one of those pillbox hat that has the kind of the leaf design where the things are going around. So there's little spaces in there set like that. And I still remember that. And they were riding in the car. You're going to be looking for a while, Tracy. I'll explain to you later why. Judy guessed it. A lot of people guessed it. Well, you know, Galveston is the big port where after basically the Jewish immigrants had so many came into the New York down in the Lower East Side or whatever. They had turned that into a ghetto. And so the rabbis started sending, this is in 1918, or was it, I think it was 1918. They started sending the rabbis, in Europe, and then there were receiving rabbis in Galveston, and they started sending the Jews to Galveston. And I know this because I did this play in 2018 called The Immigrant, true story. And this Jewish immigrant had come in through Galveston and worked his way up to, Hamilton. I want to say Hamilton, Texas. I believe he became a local banker, and his wife, who I played in the play. This play has played all over the country, done really well. And it was written by the great-grandson of the original immigrant. He came peddling bananas. He was peddling bananas when he got into town. And this banker's wife spotted him and persuaded the banker to give him a place to shelter and some, place to wash up and all that. And it just started from there. And then the banker wound up sponsoring him, and he became a merchant of household goods. And that began this whole, the Jewish household good families, started migrating to the West Coast. But it was a really beautiful play. And it's like the best thing I ever did. What were you doing at Halliburton, Scott? He may already be gone cooking. Yeah, you're young, amazing autist, but Jackie Kennedy was just so cool and beautiful and enigmatic. Not terribly vocal. Kind of shy, actually. But after, some years after JFK was killed, ... she met a very wealthy Greek man, tycoon. What was Onassis' first name? I'm blanking. And married him. what their dad did to their sister. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, what we were taught about the assassination is not what actually happened. Let's see. That's right. His name was Aristotle. How funny. Yeah. Onassis was one of the wealthiest men in the world in his day. That's true. And we were all just like, oh my God, she has gone from Kennedy to this richest man in the world with all these yachts and this thing and that thing. But today, are you kidding? I mean, 100 billionaires. Who even knows if he was a billionaire? Maybe by today's dollars, he would be a billionaire. But 100 billionaires were made during the pandemic. Just think about that. While all the non-essential businesses were out of business, 100 billionaires were made. Something wrong with that picture. Yeah, he got shot and killed. Not just like MLK. I mean, MLK got shot and killed. Bobby Kennedy got shot and killed. JFK got shot and killed. The details of how they got shot and killed were not exactly what they taught us. I know. This is my baby, Aristotle. That would be so funny. 2,000 billionaires now, and we have people, many people out of work. There's something wrong with that picture. Hey, has everybody hit the up button? I'm going to have to go round up my kitties. It's getting late. Yes, I think I will identify as a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. Yeah. Good idea, Daryl. Daryl, am I supposed to see you tomorrow? I'm exhausted. Oh, Lordy. Let's talk in the morning. Honestly, I'm so tired. Thank you, Judy. Thanks to everyone who hit the thumbs up, who tuned in today. I really appreciate your support. I want to try to build community, bring people together, make people aware of the potential. Permaculture billionaire ninja. That's me. That's going to be me. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Judy. Thanks, everyone, for hitting the thumbs up, for tuning in. God bless you. Have a great week. I am pooped, and I will see you next Tuesday, 5 o'clock Central. Thank you, the Urban Gardener. Many thanks. And thank you, Betty. God bless you up there. I can't wait to get on my Telegram and find out what's going on up in Canada. Yeah. Right. Yes. Amazing Autist. Couldn't agree more. Okay, everybody. I was just going to say, somehow this guy put 32 to 3 gallon pots in the back of my pickup truck, laid them down. Picture this, laid them down. They're 6 feet tall, coiled them around so that everything was packed below the edge of the truck bed, so that when I was traveling for 5 hours on the interstate, nothing was flying out. And, it's a couple little branches off of one of the dogwoods, but it was amazing. And then he put a pallet on top of that. So that's how I got home. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. God bless you and have a great week.